So I just had my biopsy and it wasn't expected at all, to be honest. I thought I was just going for a 3D mammogram to get it checked out, and then if it's deemed suspicious, then we'll do the biopsy. But they had it all in one go. And I had this needle stuck in my breast and all the blood was coming out. And it was quite traumatic for me because seeing all that blood coming out of my breast, it was like, what's going on the first time? And then an array of emotions start to flood my system. And it is interesting, the science behind it, because when I was going through the motions of crying, thinking my life is going to end, what's going to happen, and then tears start to flood and I start to feel really tight, feel really sort of frozen, and I couldn't walk, and I stood out and I started to walk up the steps, and I you know, I mean, you can tell by my voice I'm still a little bit shaken, but I know that when the hormones that flood your system becomes activated, like the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, it stops you from thinking logically. You know, that's what happens. And it is normal for somebody not be able to make sense of anything. So if you, despite how much you try to talk sense into it, they're not going to take it in. And first is understand that that's actually what's happening. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to let things pass. And once that period has passed, the person's able to stand up, and, you know, I felt a little bit numb. I couldn't walk properly. And I felt a little bit confusion that can happen. And yeah, once you go through that process of doing that, you start to come back to become more normalized. And you know that once this period has passed, when your body's able to process the hormones out of your system, it will come back to normal. But it's important to kind of process that out, because if you leave it stored in your system, it will become an imprint in your nervous system and it will bring up certain events. And this is where I guess PTSD happens. And there's a lot of science behind it. I mean, I'm still doing some studying around that. It's really interesting. But yeah, for anybody who's going through a traumatic event, especially when they have to do with it alone, or even if there are with people that want to understand, it is your own journey. And when you understand what your body's going through that process, you become more empowered, because knowledge is power. And by going, and the only way to understand is actually to go through it. That's the only way. When you start to make sense of what's happening, then you think, okay, there's a science behind that. That makes sense.